Flying into controversy, the new flight path causing uproar in Edinburgh. How the Scottish school holidays could infringe on next year's festival. And taxing times ahead as council cuts threaten Edinburgh's annual extravaganza. Well, hello and welcome to Network News. People who live close to the flight path into Edinburgh Airport say the noise is disrupting their lives. The airport is trialling a new air route into the city for the next 6 months, and angry residents are complaining they haven't been consulted. Our reporter, Daniel Sinclair, has the story.
6.5 million tourists came into Scotland last year. That's even more than England. But this is putting a lot of pressure on Edinburgh Airport. To cope with the demand, the airport's trialling a new flight path into the city.
Come 2017, if our growth forecasts are right, then our runway will be very congested. So we need to look at ways of getting capacity into our runway to avoid planes queuing, to make sure we're keeping the same performance for our passengers and our airlines.
Edinburgh Airport says the trial is necessary to see if it can handle more flights. But some residents say the noise is a major disruption to their lives.
They can be as frequently as 2 minutes apart. They're incredibly disruptive, very, very noisy, and the airport are just arrogant, and all we get is platitudes and patronising responses from them.
Other residents are unhappy because they say they haven't been consulted over the new flight path and say the trial should be halted.
The CAA and Edinburgh Airport have changed the flight paths and changed the rules without any consultation towards the local people. And I think we've got a battle on our hands to try and overcome this. Fingers crossed the little people will win, but we'll just have to wait and see.
The airport says during the 6-month trial it's not required to carry out a full consultation. As we've heard today, there seems to be many benefits of the new flight path, such as more frequent flight departures, increase in the economy and more tourism. But on the other hand, many locals are upset about this decision due to increased air and noise pollution. As it stands, the outcome remains uncertain. Daniel Sinclair, Network News, Edinburgh.
The founder of one of Edinburgh's most famous comedy clubs has called for the Fringe to start a fortnight earlier. Tommy Shepherd, who's set up the Stand Club, says the dates of the Fringe could coincide with the Scottish school holidays. Our reporter, Edward Buxton, has been exploring the possible impact of this change.
As this year's Fringe comes to a close, the big question for 2016 is, will it start in July? Performers have been coming here throughout the month of August ever since the Fringe started in 1947. So what do local businesses and performers think about the idea of changing the dates?
I think businesses like mine, I think it's better to have an extended season. Restaurants, cafes, we're an international festival, so the rest of Europe is involved in the festival and the rest of the world is involved in the festival, and they're all on holiday in August, and so for us as a business it extends our season.
As an international festival there are more people other than Scottish children. From my point of view, definitely we do see a pronounced drop in ticket sales as schools go back.
I do a kids show, so what that means is the first couple of weeks of the festival are amazing, jam-packed with kids, and then it drops off a cliff because all of a sudden they're imprisoned by the school system. Nothing wrong with school, I love it, but that would make it so much better for a performer like me.
According to the website edfringe.com, there are over 3,000 performances at the Fringe this year, only 195 of which are children's shows.
If the dates of the Edinburgh Fringe were to change to coincide with the Scottish school holidays, then it would appear to have a negative impact on local business owners, but it would have a positive impact on the Fringe acts themselves.
At the moment, this is only a proposal, but if the idea takes off, it could change this 68-year-old tradition. Edward Buxton, Network News, Edinburgh.
Well, as the debate continues over the dates of the Fringe, there's wider concern about the future funding of the festival. Cuts in council budgets mean Edinburgh has to save £120 million over the next few years. It means finding alternative funding for the festival is crucial for next year. This report from Dominic Heckles.
With the festival season in full swing, summer in Edinburgh is the height of art and culture. As the world's leading festival city, it attracts people from all over the globe. However, with budgets shrinking across the country, is Edinburgh making the right decision to cut festival funding?
It's the biggest festival in the world. It's the largest arts festival in the world. To cut it, it's insanity. You know, everyone comes to Edinburgh. Without it being funded properly, you know, it won't grow. It certainly won't maintain itself.
In the face of these austerity measures, the man in charge of the city's cultural calendar has suggested that there may need to be a new tax to help fund the Fringe in future. One businessman we spoke to told us he thought it was a good idea.
Well, I think if we're going to generate some of the city, I think a little bit just from local business and how much money they take, definitely put back into it.
Fringe raises millions of pounds for the Scottish economy. With every pound invested by the city, 12 times that amount floods into the rest of Scotland. So that's left some wondering why the people of Edinburgh should be left to foot the bill.
As Edinburgh locals would not take too kindly to paying more to have double the influx of people kind of invade their city.
The row over the future funding of the Fringe hasn't affected ticket sales this year, but economic uncertainty remains.
As the festival draws to a close, the process for finding sufficient funds for next year begins. But the question is, where will that funding come from?
Only time will tell. Dominique Heckles, Network News, Edinburgh.
Well, at this point, I wonder if I could ask our audience here at the Network News Show to give their congratulations to the students who put all that together. Well done, guys. And we helped a little bit with my colleagues from Sky News, Barnaby Green, and our new head of Home News, Neil Dunwoody, who's up here. And it's great to have Neil and Barnaby's support as we help. So thank them as well, and thanks to our editors. Because if one thing we try to impress upon our colleagues who've been working with us these last few days, it's very much a team game. So we thought we'd put a little extra item. Everyone ready for it? Here we go. The team video for 2015. And that's it then from this year. We'll be back in Edinburgh in 2016 if our funding isn't cut. Goodbye.